Have you ever looked at a warm, golden slice of bread and quietly thought, I wish I could still enjoy this? For millions of seniors managing diabetes, bread has become the villain, a source of guilt, fear, and frustration. But what if the very breads you've been told to avoid could actually help stabilize your blood sugar? In this video, we're revealing 5 sweet, familiar breads found in almost every grocery store that support your body, not sabotage it. And yes, some might even bring back the joy of your favorite childhood breakfast. It might not look like much at first, a little dense, a little rugged. Not the kind of bread you slap mayonnaise on and call a sandwich. But there's a quiet kind of power in sprouted grain bread, and it begins where most bread stories end, at the seed. Before the flour, before the dough, before the crust even forms, there's a moment where the grain begins to awaken. That's the secret. Sprouted grains aren't ground while they're dormant. They're allowed to come to life, to sprout, just a little. And that small act of patience changes everything. For seniors, especially those managing diabetes, this is where healing begins. Sprouting unlocks enzymes that break down starches, reducing the bread's glycemic index, meaning it won't send your blood sugar skyrocketing like refined white bread. In fact, a study published in the Journal of Nutrition and Metabolism found that sprouted grain bread produced a significantly lower post-meal blood glucose response than both white and whole wheat breads. But it doesn't stop there. The process enhances the availability of vitamins like B6 and folate, and minerals like magnesium and zinc, nutrients that become harder to absorb as we age. For older adults who feel more tired, more foggy, or just a little off after eating, this kind of bread is a quiet revolution. It's also packed with fiber and plant protein, not the kind that sits heavy or causes bloating, but the kind that keeps your appetite grounded. No sugar crashes, no dizzy spells, just steady, sustained energy that carries you from breakfast into your day. And maybe most important of all, it respects you. Sprouted grain bread isn't pretending to be something it's not. It's not made in a lab. It doesn't need to shout with labels. It's food in its most honest form, the kind that offers nourishment without taking anything away. Toast it and top it with almond butter and cinnamon for a naturally sweet and stabilizing breakfast. Add sliced avocado for healthy fats, or enjoy it with an egg and tomato for a full, balanced morning meal. These aren't compromises. They're rituals of care, the kind you get to keep doing day after day. Many seniors tell me the same thing. Switching to sprouted grain bread gave them back something they didn't realize they'd lost. The joy of breakfast. The simple act of eating toast without guilt. The pleasure of food that feeds not just the body, but the memory of who you've always been. And just when you think bread couldn't get any gentler on your body, wait until you learn what happens when you bake the earth's most trusted grain, the oat, into a loaf designed to soothe your blood sugar with every bite. It doesn't shout from the shelf. It doesn't come wrapped in flashy packaging or bold claims. But oat bread, soft, golden, and quietly resilient, may be one of the most underappreciated heroes in a diabetic-friendly kitchen. For decades, oats have warmed American mornings. Bowls of oatmeal on snowy days, cookies packed in tin lunch boxes, mason jars tucked away in kitchen cupboards. They've always been there, humble, trustworthy. And now, as we age and navigate a new chapter in health, oats are stepping into the spotlight once more. This time in the form of bread. Unlike white bread, which digests like sugar and disappears from the bloodstream almost as fast, oat bread is made from slow, complex carbohydrates, the kind that don't crash your system. The real star? A special fiber called beta-glucan. According to clinical research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, beta-glucan has been shown to lower post-meal blood glucose and improve insulin response. That means less volatility, less fatigue, more calm, sustained energy throughout the day. But there's more to oats than just fiber. They're rich in magnesium, which helps regulate blood sugar, iron to support energy, and B vitamins to help the brain and nervous system perform better. These nutrients are especially crucial for seniors, as natural absorption declines with age. And unlike some other whole grains, oats are naturally gluten-free, making oat bread a gentle choice for sensitive stomachs or anyone managing digestive changes. It's not just how it performs in the body, it's how it feels. Toasting a slice of oat bread in the morning and topping it with almond butter, cinnamon, or even a touch of raw honey isn't just a routine. It's an act of remembrance, a reconnection to rituals that grounded you in simpler times. And now, with smarter ingredients and intention, those rituals can return, not as guilty pleasures, but as mindful nourishment. And the benefits aren't just physical. Oat bread helps rebuild trust. Trust in food, trust in your body, trust that you can eat what you love and feel better because of it. Many seniors report feeling less bloated, less sluggish, and even mentally clearer after making the switch. One slice in the morning, another alongside a bowl of soup at lunch. It becomes less of a diet choice and more of a companion in your daily rhythm. But what if I told you there's a sweet cinnamon-laced loaf, the one you probably thought you'd never eat again, that can be just as kind to your blood sugar? That childhood favorite you said goodbye to long ago? It's time to turn the page. You can almost smell it just thinking about it. The warm, spiced air of an autumn morning. A slice of cinnamon raisin bread tucked in the toaster. Steam rising from a coffee mug nearby. For many seniors, this bread isn't just food. It's a memory, a comfort, a symbol of simpler times and sweeter mornings. And then came the diagnosis. Diabetes, high blood sugar. Suddenly, that familiar slice was no longer a friend, but a forbidden indulgence. Cinnamon, raisins, bread, 3 strikes, off the table. But what if that conclusion was wrong? Because here's the truth. When made with intention, starting with 100% whole wheat flour, cinnamon raisin bread doesn't have to be off limits. It can actually support your blood sugar, not sabotage it. Whole wheat flour digests slower than refined white flour thanks to its natural fiber and bran. That means less of a sugar surge and more of a stable, gradual energy release, exactly what seniors with diabetes need. According to a 2019 study in Nutrients, replacing refined grains with whole grains was associated with a reduction in HbA1c, a key marker of long-term blood sugar control. Then comes the cinnamon. Not just a flavor, but a functional spice. Clinical research published in Diabetes Care found that cinnamon may significantly lower fasting blood glucose and improve insulin sensitivity. That fragrant swirl through your bread, it's not just delicious, it's doing the hard work of balancing your body. And yes, the raisins matter too. Naturally sweet, yes, but also packed with fiber and antioxidants, which slow the release of sugars into the bloodstream. The key is balance and pairing. A slice of whole wheat cinnamon raisin bread, enjoyed with a bit of almond butter or a slice of cheese, slows digestion even more. That means no sugar crash and no guilt. But maybe the biggest benefit of all, what this bread gives you emotionally. It tells a new story. A story where you don't have to choose between tradition and health, where sweetness doesn't mean sabotage, where breakfast can still be joyful. Because food isn't just about blood sugar, it's about belonging. When you bring a slice of cinnamon raisin bread back into your life, carefully chosen, smartly paired, you're not cheating. You're reclaiming. You're saying, I still get to enjoy what I love, just with new wisdom. And just when you thought the surprises were over, there's another classic waiting, A golden slice wrapped in warmth, banana-scented air, and quiet Sunday memories. The kind of bread you thought you had to say goodbye to forever. But not anymore. There's something sacred about the smell of banana bread rising in the oven. It's a scent that doesn't just fill the kitchen. It fills your chest. With memory, with warmth, with that quiet joy of a Sunday morning where nothing is rushed and everything feels safe. But for many seniors managing diabetes, banana bread became one of the first things to vanish from the table. Too sweet, too starchy, too risky. Just one slice could send your blood sugar spinning, or so you were told. What if that wasn't the full story? Because banana bread, when made with the right ingredients and intention, isn't a health hazard. It's a health helper, a smarter version of a beloved classic that can support your blood sugar rather than spike it. The first step? Ditch the white flour. Swap in almond flour or oat flour, both naturally lower on the glycemic index and higher in blood sugar stabilizing nutrients. Almond flour, for instance, is rich in protein, fiber, and healthy fats, a trio that slows digestion and keeps glucose levels from surging. And oat flour adds a gentle dose of beta-glucan, known for its blood sugar regulating properties. What about sweetness? You don't need cups of sugar. Just 1 or 2 ripe bananas provide all the natural sweetness you need, along with potassium and magnesium, key minerals that support cardiovascular and metabolic health. When paired with crushed walnuts, the bread gains another layer of support. Omega-3 fatty acids and anti-inflammatory compounds that help the body respond to insulin more efficiently. Even cinnamon, that familiar swirl of spice, isn't just a flavor booster. As we discussed earlier, studies in diabetes care have shown cinnamon can improve fasting blood glucose levels, making it a gentle but powerful addition to diabetic-friendly baking. But the real magic of banana nut bread? It's not just in what it contains, it's in what it restores. Seniors who try this revised version often say the same thing, that it brought joy back into their kitchen, that it felt like permission to participate again, to bake again, to share food without fear. And that emotional shift, that matters. Because a sustainable diabetic lifestyle isn't about punishment. It's about possibilities. It's about rediscovering comfort. In a slice warmed slightly, served with a scoop of Greek yogurt or a cup of tea, eaten slowly and without guilt. This isn't cheating. It's choosing well. Choosing ingredients that honor both your body and your story. But what if we told you there's one final bread, the most unassuming of all, that may actually hold the biggest surprise? A bread as old as civilization itself, now backed by modern science for its gut-healing, blood sugar-steadying magic. Let's talk about sourdough. There's something unmistakable about the sound of tearing into a crusty slice of sourdough, that soft crackle, that tangy scent, that warmth. For many older adults, sourdough was always there, on the side of a hearty soup, wrapped around a roast beef sandwich, or toasted golden for breakfast with a touch of butter. And yet, somewhere along the way, even sourdough became suspect. Another loaf lumped in with bad carbs, pushed aside out of fear it would destabilize blood sugar. But here's the twist. Sourdough may just be the most misunderstood bread of all. Not only is it not harmful to blood sugar, it could be one of the most beneficial. The secret isn't just in the ingredients. It's in the fermentation process. Unlike commercial breads made with fast-rising yeast and refined flour, traditional sourdough is fermented slowly with wild yeast and lactic acid bacteria. That fermentation doesn't just build flavor, it transforms the very structure of the bread. During this slow fermentation, much of the bread's starches and gluten are naturally broken down. This results in a lower glycemic index, meaning it digests more slowly and doesn't cause the same sharp spikes in blood sugar. In fact, a study published in the British Journal of Nutrition found that sourdough bread led to significantly lower postprandial glucose and insulin responses compared to conventional white bread, even when made from the same flour. But the benefits go deeper than blood sugar. That fermentation also produces prebiotics, fibers that feed the good bacteria in your gut. And a healthy gut? It's linked not only to better digestion but to stronger immunity, improved brain health, and even emotional stability. For seniors facing sluggish digestion, frequent bloating, or the side effects of long-term medication, sourdough can offer quiet relief. There's also something beautifully elemental about sourdough. It invites patience. It rewards slowness. And maybe that's the message behind the loaf, that good things take time and are often found in the old, familiar places we once took for granted. Pair a slice of sourdough with olive oil and cracked pepper. Top it with a poached egg. Enjoy it with tomato and cottage cheese. These aren't luxuries. They're acts of nourishment, and they can be part of your daily rhythm, even if you're managing diabetes. And when made the traditional way, without additives or commercial shortcuts, sourdough becomes more than just bread. It becomes medicine, gentle, functional, honest. So maybe it's not about finding a new food entirely. Maybe it's about looking again at something old and realizing it still has something vital to offer. But before we finish, we need to address one final urgent question. Which breads should you avoid, even if the label says healthy? Because not all bread is created equal, and some are working against you, quietly. Let's take a closer look. The bread aisle used to feel simple, a few familiar loaves, a trusted brand. But now, it stretches like a maze, row after row of colors, labels, and promises. Low fat, keto, heart healthy, and yet many of these loaves, despite their packaging, may be quietly working against you, especially as we age, and especially when managing diabetes. What we put on our plate matters more than ever. And unfortunately, not all breads deserve a place there. Let's start with white bread. It may be the most nostalgic loaf of all, soft, airy, the backbone of countless childhood sandwiches. But behind its comfort lies a problem. White bread is made from highly refined flour, stripped of its fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Without those natural buffers, it digests almost instantly, flooding your bloodstream with glucose. It feels satisfying in the moment, and then leaves you tired, irritable, even dizzy. Then there's light bread, labeled low-calorie, low-fat, or sugar-free. At first glance, they sound like smart choices. But many of these products make up for the lack of calories by loading up on starches, emulsifiers, or artificial sweeteners. The result? A glycemic roller coaster that can leave your blood sugar just as unstable, and your cravings even stronger. Next, sweet bakery breads and flavored bagels, cinnamon crunch, blueberry swirl, honey oat. These are often more pastry than bread, packed with sugar, low in fiber, and designed to taste addictive. A single slice can carry as much sugar as a candy bar, but without the balance your body needs to process it safely. Even multi-grain bread deserves a closer look. That golden brown color? It may come from molasses or caramel coloring, not whole grains. Unless the first ingredient listed is 100% whole wheat or whole grain, you may be buying nothing more than refined flour in disguise. And then there's the most deceptive of all, diabetic-friendly bread. Sounds reassuring, right? But that label isn't regulated. A loaf can carry the title without truly supporting your blood sugar. In fact, many of these breads contain additives, gums, and sugar alcohols that can irritate your digestion and spike your insulin despite low calorie counts. So how do you protect yourself? You stay mindful. You read the label. You ask, are whole grains listed first? Is there fiber? Are the ingredients recognizable and simple? Because here's the truth. Being mindful doesn't mean being afraid. It means being aware. It means knowing that every slice is a choice, one that can either nourish you or nudge you further from balance. And the good news? Once you know what to avoid, what remains becomes even more powerful. The breads we've explored, sprouted grain, oat, cinnamon raisin, banana nut, and sourdough, become not just safe options, but empowering ones. And that leads us to one final truth, the message that ties it all together. Because in the end, this isn't about bread at all. It's about you. Let's bring it all home. By now you've probably realized this wasn't really about bread. Yes, we talked about slices and grains, about blood sugar and digestion, but beneath all of that there's something more important. A quiet, unshakable truth. As we grow older, food changes. The way we eat, the way our body responds, even the way we feel after a simple meal, it all evolves. But what doesn't change is our right to enjoy life, our right to feel connected to what's on our plate, our right to sit at the table and not just eat, but feel good about eating. Too many seniors have been told that aging is a slow descent, that joy must shrink, that comfort is indulgent, that bread, warm, familiar, comforting bread, must be sacrificed to stay safe. But that's a myth. Because when you choose the right bread, one that's thoughtfully made, rich in fiber, kind to your blood sugar, and easy to digest, you're not giving up anything. You're reclaiming something. You're reclaiming the freedom to eat with trust, not fear. The freedom to wake up and look forward to breakfast again. To smell something baking in the oven and not feel punished by your health, but supported by it. The breads we explored today, sprouted grain, oat, cinnamon raisin, banana nut, and sourdough, they're not exotic or hard to find. They're right there in your local store. They're affordable, familiar, and they offer something so many seniors forget is possible: healing through the familiar, comfort without consequence, joy without guilt. So ask yourself, how do you feel after you eat? Light, balanced, clear, or foggy and fatigued? Your body is speaking, and every slice of bread, every ingredient you choose, is either helping you listen or tuning you out. This isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about paying attention to what feels good, really good, not just in your mouth, but in your mind, in your energy, in your spirit. You're not too old to change. You're not too late to heal. And you are absolutely not past the point of enjoying the food that makes you feel whole. So tomorrow morning, when you reach for that slice of toast, pause, look at the label, ask the question, does this bread love me back? Because the answer, when you choose well, should always be yes. And if today's video gave you even one new idea, one moment of relief, one sense that you can enjoy food again, then this wasn't just information. It was a transformation.